This is really difficult for me, but I decided to do this because I wanted to um, document everything, record everything once and for all. And this recording of this podcast, live podcast, is going to serve a number of purposes for me. The first purpose is to document everything um, verbally, visually, um, and I'm going to be using this podcast to aid and assist in relaying the story to different departments, and also relaying the story to my lawyers who will help me seek justice for myself. I am right now in the bottom moments of my life. Um, my life hasn't been the most difficult comparing to other people, but at the same time, my experience is my experience, and I believe I have gone through a lot. So I'm going to try my hardest to keep this straight to the point, expressing what I have gone through and also shedding a light on my experience. Okay, so here we go. My name is Taysir Atiya, and unfortunately, and I wish I was here to discuss a different story and something that's with a more happy tone, but this story is about fighting, it's about resilience. I'm here to discuss a story and the journey of me going through breast cancer and battling the disease, not only battling the disease, dealing with gangsters in the field. Unfortunately, I have experienced and dealt with people who should be in the standard and the position of holding duty of care towards their patient. But my experience was fighting those people. That is why I'm calling them gangsters. With all due respect, um, and when this respect is earned through the experience, it's on my head, like no doubt. But I had a really, really, really difficult experience, unjustifiable. So in 2017, I discovered a lump underneath my arm, and I went to get it checked. So I went to my local doctor, and I got it checked, and came back and got the results. So basically, the check was that they had to go and take a sample. And when they took the sample during the process, I was thinking, wow, like the nurses and the doctors are really, really great and thorough. I didn't really expect the worst news. I thought maybe it's like a cyst or something like that. But to my surprise, it was positive to the disease ductal carcinoma, cancer. So basically, ductal carcinoma is when the cancer cell is intact. So the cancer cell was intact. If this cell opens up, then it's at different stages. So this is the first stage, the cell ductal carcinoma, to my memory, what I remember. And if the cell opens up and it goes into the breast ducts, that's when it travels through the rest of our body. And it does travel through the lymph nodes. And obviously, the lymph nodes in our body act as a flush in our body to flush fluids and liquids. So when this hits the lymph nodes, it's like the highway to the rest of our body. So um, in 2017, I underwent 2 operations. First, they had to remove the breast tissue. And then, secondly, the doctors came back and they said, because I'm in my 30s, it's better for them to remove the whole right side, which I had gone that operation. So I did my operation at Chris O'Brien Lighthouse Hospital, and it was a smooth operation. And my plan was to then do my follow-up and my oncology in Wollongong. So that's exactly what I did because I live in the Wollongong area. I went and I did the follow-up in Wollongong Hospital. My treating doctor was Professor Klingen. Um, So Professor Klingen, I found him to be um, normal doctor, serious, very quiet, doesn't talk much, and usually my visits with him will last about maybe between 5 to 15 minutes, no longer than that, because usually I just go in, he reads or reviews my current test that they asked me to do. Is everything okay with you with the medication? Is there anything that you need to know? Nothing. And I leave. Then I'm rebooked again. So I was on hormone treatment. So the hormone treatment was actually supposed to suppress my menstruation, but I was getting my periods. And at that time, because everything that was going on, I was so confused, and I'm not a doctor, so a lot of things that might be happening in our body that I don't pay attention to, and not pay attention to, but sometimes our bodies give us a sign and we don't listen to it. So we need to actually pay attention and hopefully pick up on those signs. So I did inform my doctor that I was getting my period. And also in 2018, I fell pregnant. So under the medication I was on, if it was working for me and if it was the right treatment, I should not have gotten my period. I should not have fallen pregnant. So when I did discuss this with my doctor, there was nothing said. So by 2019, was the last time I saw Professor Klingen. He checked. At that time, I had cosmetic surgery done to the right. He checked it and said to me, "It's fantastic result, and you can now stop your medication. There is nothing further that you need to do." And that was the end of that. And after this, I was not connected to any other follow-ups. Like I was not given any um, direction of where to go. I was not told like I need to go every few months and get a screen. I was not given any contact of any organization. Um, it was pretty much like, okay, now you're healed, you're good, see you later. And as I was leaving, he said to me, "Be careful that you don't end up walking like this." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Like you don't end up with your spine like that." And I was like, "Okay." And this was already me like outside the door. So I was like, "Okay, I'm going to ask my local doctor, my GP, more about this. If it's an actual factual information, I'm going to go and ask my doctor, like, what does that mean?" So every time I go down, ask my doctor, Dr. Sundar, my Dr. Klingen said that, I should be watching my spine and that, to be careful not to be leaning on my right. She would tell me, like, there's nothing like that. I would research about it. Um, I'm not getting any answers. So it was always something in my head that I have to be careful and, focus on my posture. Naturally, I eat healthy, I exercise, there's no problem. So those things were easy for me. But it was more about the mental stress about my posture that, I might end up forming like that. That was the issue for me. Anyway, leave that alone. Skip to 2023. 2023, I noticed discoloration here. So basically, so between my studies, I noticed the discoloration. So I went and got it checked, and again, it was positive. And again, to my luck, it was local. So even though there is no any tissue or breast tissues here on this side, what the life cycle of the disease is that even though the disease is not on your body, maybe one cell can wake up. So that means it can wake up and the disease is active again. So to my luck, this cell woke up, but it was right here. Um, so by this time I was living in Melbourne. I was studying in Melbourne, and I went and the medical center referred me to Epping Hospital, and in Epping Hospital I saw Dr. Sam Tarani. So when I went to see Dr. Sam Tarani, the first thing I went in his office. I was waiting in the reception, and I went into his office. He's I came in. He's sitting at a table similar to this. So I come in and then I sit down. And the first thing I said, like, I'm trying to break ice. So I was like, oh, why are you in this depressing industry? So I didn't say it in a way like to disrespect him, but it was more like, you're now dealing with my depression. And of course, this is what they do, but it's just me talking, being whatever. It was wrong, it was right. He took it the wrong way. I have no idea if it doesn't even mean anything. I don't even know. But in my head, maybe it was wrong for me to say that. So I sat down. He asked me about my history. I told him what I was 2017. I was diagnosed. I've only been on treatment for about 2 years. The last time I saw Professor Klingen was in April 2019. The last conversation I had with him that everything is great. You don't need to do anything else. Go on with your life and just watch out for your posture, that you don't end up like this, that my spine doesn't go like that. That was it. So then Dr. Sam Torani kept asking me, like, how come you're not in any treatment? Why are you not in you're not in any hormone treatment? I was like, I don't know. He kept asking me, and I said, look, I went, this is what happened. I finished my treatment. I was told there's nothing else to do. So me, of course, like, this whole thing experience was really tough on me. So it's not my, I mean, it should have been my place to do research and ask, but in the time, like, I'm a patient. You're the professional here, So anyway, um, Dr. Sam examined the lump. So he goes to me, let me examine the lump. I laid down on the table, laid down like this, had my legs crossed. He examined the lump, which was right here. And I was like that. And as he's checking the lump, he goes to me, wow, this is really interesting. I'm gonna write about this. And I said to him, what do you mean? Like, what are you going to write about? And at that time I was thinking, like, can you at least, like, tell me what's going on instead of you already thinking about your research and that you're going to write about me? I'm not yes, I can be here for science, I can help science, but I should not be taking as a topic like that in early stage of my journey again. So he said to me, I'm gonna write about you. And I said to him, what are you gonna write about? And he didn't say anything. So, I left it alone, like it wasn't a significant thing for me at the time. And then he really shook the lump really hard. It was really, really painful. Like, I was even screamed. I remember screaming. And he goes to me, no, it's the tumor is stuck, like it's strong. And because the tumor was growing, he goes, I need to put you on hormone treatment again to reduce the tumor and operate on you to remove it. So I was really, really worried. I was so scared that this disease is going to go to other parts of my body, that I felt like I'm blessed and thank God that it is intact. And I wanted this removed ASAP. But he told me, no, I need to shrink it, because otherwise, if I operate on you now, you might have a bit of mobility issue here to your arm because of when they gather the skin. And I said, I have no problem with this. Like, I want this out of my body now before tomorrow. Anyway, so he puts me on a combination of tablet and injection. And there was always like misunderstanding between the different oncologists whenever I visited. One oncologist will tell me it's chemo tablets. Another oncologist will tell me it's not chemo tablets. Whenever I wanted to get the script, sometimes to get the repeat, there was some delays. And one time I spoke to the nurse, like trying to get the script emailed to me so I can print it and go and collect my medication. It was about 4 weeks for me to even get a hold of that script. And she's telling me on the phone, she goes, look, there's no problem, like you can delay because the medication is still in your body, in your system. So for me, like, like all these things, all these professionals, they're telling me this, of course I'm going to believe it. But later on, what I found out is that this is a very sensitive medication that you cannot, it's, you have a window that it should be continuing like that. So I believe all these things added to the disease progressing further, which I had no idea at that time. Anyway, that's the story that I'm sharing. So I was really, really, you know, anxious, and I wanted to be operated on as quick as possible. In the sense like I wanted to be operated on today before tomorrow. I'm feeling a bit more relaxed now telling my story than at the beginning of the recording. So then, um, so then, so then, so my main point was at the time, like I said, I was living in Melbourne, I was studying in Melbourne. I really wanted to be operated on as quick as possible and not involve my family, not tell my mom, not tell my kids that I'm going through this, because they've already supported me. Round one in 2017, it was like a massive journey and shift. I went from a place where I was running 2 businesses. I had 2 successful businesses. I had 2 properties. Everything was going smooth, driving a Mercedes Benz, and life was good. To, I was living a very fast paced life, in the sense that I was really busy with the businesses. My phone would never stop, dealing with the business needs, to winding down, having a quieter life to support my health, and choosing that. So then I went back to study to just get myself out of that mood and this experience, and try to reinvent myself again. So I felt like he was delaying my operation. Like every time I tell him I really want to be operated on, he just kept telling me, go back to Wollongong. And as a doctor, you have a patient. Why are you telling me to go back to Wollongong? And my doctor, like, I'm coming. My first appointment was with him. I was trying to break the ice, and I was telling him, oh, Dr. Sam, I went to Iran before. I visited Iran, Tehran, and your country is really beautiful. It's really nice, and sharing with him my experience when I went to Iran. And then, like, he just kept calling me like spy. For a few times, like every time I came, he's like, oh, here is the spy. And I'm going, why the hell is calling me a spy? I'm not a spy. And one time I really felt like, what if he thinks I'm a spy coming to spy on him or something? Maybe like he thinks like I'm an undercover spy or something. So I Googled to see like if he's got anything to hide, that he's calling me a spy, and there was nothing. But another oncologist had something on him, but I don't want to just discuss that. It's none of my business. But it was just really weird. Like every time I went to Dr. Sam, it was a really weird encounter. He just seemed to be really, really cold, and sometimes he seemed to be really, really friendly. Like one time I came to meet him. He, he even put his arm around me. He is a spy, like, and I was confused. Like, it was a really mixed thing because, like, of course, you want to have a good, happy relationship with your doctor, but at the same time, it was really crazy. And then at some point, I even like put on a little bit of weight, and like we were both standing in the room, and he goes to me, like he's walking around me, and it was more like he's walking around my head, and he's going to me, oh no, like you put on weight, it must be the medication. It was really like weird experience. And then the whole thing that he's calling me a spy, and that kept making me anxious. So anyway, like during this time, you know, when he sent me for a few tests, I went and I came in, and I remember before I went into the room to see him, to get my results, to see what was going on with me, um, I was sitting outside reception, and then before I went in, I have this thing where I like to take a photo of myself when I'm about to go through an experience and I don't know what that experience is going to take me to, or like if I'm sad or whatever, I just like take a photo. So as I'm walking in, holding my bag, and I just took a photo with myself like that, and I smiled at the photo like this. I took a photo and I walked in because I know, like, after this point, I don't know what's going to happen, what he's going to say to me. So it was a really difficult 3 weeks where I had to wait until the test result came back to show, like, what is this new disease, how far it's gone in my body, am I dying, am I not dying, like all these questions were in my head. And I was dealing with all this on my own, which was my choice, but did not want to involve my family, my mom, my kids, my friends, to stress them more, because I feel like they already been through all this with me before, and I just felt like I need to know myself before finding out. Anyway, story short, I walk in, and the minute I sit down and he looks at me, he goes, I guess I have good news for you. So straight away in my mind, it's like, I guess, why is he saying I guess? It should be like, with happiness, like he should give me this information, like, it's a good thing for your patient. But he goes, I guess I have good news for you. I said, okay. He goes, okay, the lump, of course, we know it's like positive. And the good news is that it has not gone to any part of your body. It's local. And of course, at that point, I was relieved. Oh my God. The way my brain was racing, like, I'm safe, I'm okay. I've caught it on time. And I just collapsed. Like, then he goes to me, if you don't mind to be part of, like, we would like to take some photos to, like, take some photos for our file, and like to be part of like a study. And at that point, like, in my heart, I didn't want to be honest, but I also wanted to keep my doctor happy so that, I can receive good treatment. And what upset me about this whole thing, which in my mind, I just wrote that he didn't give me a chance to process what was happening, to be honest. you know Straight away he asked me about this thing, and he goes, okay, sign here and here if you agree, and we're gonna take some photos of you. And for me, I would have liked to have more time to process what he just told me. So then he left the room because I had already said, okay, I'll do it. But in my heart, I really didn't want to do it, but I wanted to do it so he can be happy, so he can treat me good as a patient. So then I just signed the document, and he goes to me, okay, we're gonna go take you to take some photos. And I thought, okay, you know what, for the medical, I'll do it. So when he left, and then he goes to me, okay, let me examine you. So I laid down on the table, he examined me, and then he left to tell the camera person to get ready. So then when he left out of the room, literally, I just collapsed on the floor. I sat down on the floor like this, just to fall down and just to like be grateful and thank God for what have just happened to me, and take a deep breath, because I was in a different place. Anyway, so I go to this room, and then they were like the lighting, and then the camera was on. So they take a few shots of me, of course topless, and then I went back to him and I left to reschedule another appointment. So then the whole time I felt like, he's delaying me. So like, we're going into 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Now we're coming up to December. And in December, like, I go back to Sydney to be with my children. And in the meantime, like, I always go, like, during the uni term, I go back, see them, come back and forwards like this. Anyway, so then he just kept telling me, like, go back to Wollongong, go back to Wollongong. And I thought, hospital. And I thought he wanted me to go back to Wollongong Hospital was because of the question, why have I not been put on hormone treatment for 5 years? So at that stage, I realized that I should have been on hormone treatment for 5 years and not the 2 years, because that is just the cycle of the disease, that when you get diagnosed and when you have surgery, that they put you on hormone treatment for 5 years to reduce your chances of the disease to come again. So I was not given that chance, and I should have been medicated by Professor Klingen for 5 years, not for the 2 years. So 2017, 18, by 2019, I stopped. 2019 February was my last dose of medication, and I saw him. No, March was my last dose of medication. By April, I stopped my medication. Sorry, excuse me. Under his request. So I want to ask the question to oncology team Wollongong. Why was I not put on hormone treatment for 5 years, which is the procedure? And I also want to ask the question that when I was on the hormone treatment, why did I fall pregnant in 2018? And why didn't Professor Klingen raise the alarm to know that the medication is not working for me? Because if my hormones were being suppressed as it should have been, I should not have been getting my periods and falling pregnant. And he just didn't even pay attention to that. Why was my doctor asleep on the wheel? That's exactly what's happening. I need to know. So that was the first mistake that happened at my first diagnosis. So now coming to the diagnosis of 2023, I was now put on hormone treatment, hormone blockers by Dr. Sam Torani. And then because I felt like they kept delaying me, not giving me the medication on time, asking me to go back to Wollongong, it's better for me. At one stage, I thought, okay, maybe I'm dying. Maybe they're hiding something from me, that they want me to go and continue my treatment with my family. So by the end of 2023, I still had not gone for surgery. So I was referred back to Wollongong, where I faced what I can only call as pure evil. So right now, like, I feel like my doctor is telling me I'm a spy, telling me to go back to Wollongong. What is going on? He keeps delaying me. He's telling me, like, you're putting on weight because of the medication, my delaying for the script, taking photos of me. It was just weird. Like, the whole thing was really, really weird. So I even recall my last appointment with him. When I went home, I sent an email to his office. I said, look, doctor, I want you to operate on me. Is there any chance that you can operate on me? Because I'm worried that the disease is going to spread any minute. So when I was transferred to Wollongong Hospital Oncology team, which was the same team and the same department I was being treated on in 2017. So this time, my doctor was Dr. Lawrence Casherman. This look was for Dr. Lawrence Casherman. Dr. Lawrence Casherman, I went to see him. He seemed like a knowledgeable doctor. So went through my chart, and also he asked me the same question again. Why are you not in any hormone treatment? Why have you not been put on hormone treatment? Why have you not gone to any breast screening to check regularly? And I said, look, I don't know, doctor. I was here last time in 2019. Professor Klingen said to me, everything is fine. Live your life normal, eat healthy, be exercise. That's it. And I live by those rules because I love those rules anyway. Then last year in 2023, I found the lump. I went. This is what happened in Melbourne, and now I'm here. He said to me, I would have felt more comfortable to put you on a 5-year cycle than what had happened. And I said, well, I don't know, but I would like to find out. He goes to me, I'll find out for you. From that point, the treatment was always very, very careful. I never got answers, and I was always being treated like I'm a difficult patient. So as I'm telling Dr. Casherman my experience, at one stage she even told me to go to the media, to share my story in the media, that why did this happen to me. So I continued the same medication with Dr. Casherman, continued to go for my PET scan, continued to check. The good thing is that the medication was reducing the lump, and I was still getting my periods also at the same time. We were coming up to the new year, and I thought, okay, maybe because of New Year, everyone is going on holiday, everything is booked, there's no surgeries. But for me, I really wanted this operation as soon as possible. So then I was still being medicated January 2024, February 2024. And I was also seeing my surgeon in Wollongong, the great Dr. Matthew Beck. So with Dr. Casherman, every time I went to his clinic, it was always like almost like he's seeing so many patients in the one time. He was always going in from one room to another room. I'll be in the room with the nurse. He will have one practicing doctor with him. He will ask me, is that okay if this practicing oncologist is here? I'd say, okay, no problem. So the practicing oncologist will be the one looking at my results and my scans. The nurse will be sitting here. Dr. Casherman is in and out. At some point, like there's not even enough seats in the room, he will sit next to me on the bed. And I remember there was one time he was sitting next to me. He goes to me, are you planning to have any more children? And I said, I mean, I'm not planning to have any more children right now, but if there's anything I can do to say, to save my life for this thing not to go any further, I will do it. Anyway, it was just the whole thing was really weird. Like, and he would take leave, and every time they will ask me to, reschedule, of course, my appointment towards his holidays. So anyway, um, I recall one time I was actually hyperventilating, and I was telling him, like, I'm noticing there's some like changes here on my there's like a window here. Didn't even like investigate it further, So then I would go down to Dr. Matthew Beck, explain to him the same thing. Then he would call Dr. Kashaman and say, this is what your patient is thingy, and you should get this checked out. And then now Dr. Kashaman is paying attention to what I was saying before. And I try and get more information. Like if I'm going for an X-ray, an ultrasound, or the PET scan, I will ask that stuff like about what's going on, and so on. And in that time, like there was so much going on in my life. Like the disease is not the only thing that was happening in my life. There was a lot going on. I had the kids, I was doing uni, and that's a whole different story, like my experience with uni. My property was in the market for sale. So when I was going for my surgery, I just sold my house that I co-owned with my mom. I had my furniture in storage, and I was staying in a rental property like an Airbnb. No, it's not an Airbnb, like a furnished apartment. I was staying in Kula Apartments in Wollongong. And for me, I thought it was going to be like a temporary situation, because I'm going to go in for surgery. I'm going to come back and see Dr. Casherman. I'm going to be put on hormone treatment because, everything is going fine. And then I'm going to go now focus on my life and trying to build my life again with the proceeds of my property. So at that stage, last year this time, in my account, I had about $400,000. The money that I have been working hard for all these years, saving, built equity in my property. Now it was going through my surgery again. All I wanted was a chance to have a peaceful, happy life, set up everything for my kids and for myself, and live a happy life. And with that money, it was going to make me give me that comfortable life for me and my children, and I don't have to worry. Like 400,000 invested in different properties, still do my studies, do my work, and so on. So for my life to go 360-degree change in 12 months to now having almost zero balance is like something I cannot handle. I can't even deal with. Cut. Okay. Continue. Okay. I really don't want to cry because I've cried so much, but I just can't understand. So the main point is that after I had gone for my surgery with Dr. Beck, it was on Valentine's Day last year. So I get a card. Thank you, Dr. Beck, for saving my life. Wrote a beautiful message to him and his team, and took a box of chocolate, and I went to the theater. And by that time, I'm homeless. I'm staying in cool apartments. My children are with their dad. They come and see me on the weekend. I'm dealing with this disease. I'm lonely as fuck. Because I wanted to keep this and deal with it on my own. So I call an Uber, go to Wollongong Hospital. They put some markers. And then from there, took a taxi to Shell Harbour Private. Excuse me. So I went for surgery in Shell Harbour Private, and the surgery is only going to take like an hour and a half. I came out, everything is good. I'm on my own at the hospital. And a few days later, call a taxi again, go to my service apartment, waiting for my follow-up, Dr. Cashman after surgery. So I woke up 3 weeks later, literally 3 weeks later. I woke up, I'm all happy, got money in my bank account, I did my operation. This is the next stage of my life where I do not want to live or deal with any bullshit in my life. So I go and sit down with him. The nurse is there, Jade, and we sit down, we look at the patient. And mind you, there's a part that I just skipped. During these times between the new year and between the time I had the operation, I kept feeling different symptoms. I kept feeling a really sharp pain here on the side, having problems breathing. Whenever I take a few steps, it's hard for me to walk. And I was thinking, like, why am I feeling like that? Maybe it's the medication. And on 2 different occasions, one, I had to be hospitalized for not being able to breathe. And all this time I was thinking to myself, maybe it's the disease had gone to other parts of my body. I'm dying. And every time I ask him, is there anything wrong? This is what happened to me. I went to emergency. No, everything is fine. I go down to my local doctor. She's telling me, "Kaz, your results are here, and your results are showing that the disease has progressed on your body, and that it's serious. You actually need to go and talk to your doctor about it." I go to my doctor, the Cashman. My local JP said this. Is this true? Says to me, no, it's not true. And if it was true, and if we get to that stage, we will talk about it. Okay, fine. I go. Same thing again. I go and do one test. She gets the results. She discussed the result with me. Till, like, to the point where she's making me afraid, like I'm going to die, that I should, talk to the father of my kids, that, I'm in a critical situation. I go to the hospital. She goes to me, look, go to the hospital and tell them that you're not leaving until they tell you what the hell is wrong with you. I said, okay, fine. She said to me, when you go, tell them that you're going to record the conversation because of your, you forget what you guys just discussed about the conversation. I said, fine. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the oncology and I said, I'm not leaving here until you guys tell me what is wrong with me. Why am I feeling like this? What is going on? I go, they send me for x-ray. Dr. Kashiman wasn't there, but other doctors were there. They send me, they check my blood test, they send me for an x-ray. They come, everything is fine. There's nothing for you to worry about. Everything is good. And it's all recorded here. And I go. Now, my detective mode was on. What I did, I went to every single place. I went for testing. My Wollongong nuclear PET scan in level 7 at the private hospital. I went to Kenny Street PET to do my scans. I went to all these places. I collected the report. So I came back, collected all the reports. I sat down in my cooler apartment that's facing the beach. Sat down. I spread everything, all the results. I got in contact with Luminous Imaging, got access to all the results from Epping, Melbourne, and then I went through all the results. And I looked, and there's one test in January. It was showing progression of my disease in my body to my lung. And Dr. Cashman was not aware of this and did not discuss with me anything. As far as I'm concerned, as far as everything that was reported to me, there is nothing or anything of this at all. All I need to do, go have my little mini operation, come back and see him after 3 weeks, be on my medication, and God is with you. And now I'm thinking, hopefully this time, what happened to me in 2017, 2019, mistake of not being put on the right treatment and not being put on the follow-up to be fixed round 2. Not knowing that my nightmare is just about to start. Anyway, so I woke up 3 weeks later, literally 3 weeks after Valentine's Day, last year. This is not even like historical event. This is like this time last year. I woke up, I sit down, Dr. Cashman, I'm so sorry. This is really against my behavior or my personality, but I'm going to record this meeting. No, that's fine. Go ahead, record the meeting. A lot of patients do that. I press record, put my phone down. He starts to talk to me, and I never expected what is about to happen. He said, no, I did expect that he's going to share some news with me. And I had evidence of the news that he was about to share with me, but I didn't know the extent of the news. I had evidence, which is the test result from January showing that there was some movement of the disease to other parts of my body that he did not share with me. So to my understanding, this is information that you as my doctor, you need to be open and you know everything about my case. So I took a copy of that report with me. I took all the reports with me, but that report from January. I had highlighted what is in that report that he never discussed with. Just have to- So I woke up, sit down. Dr. Kashim, they say your disease has progressed. And mind you, I've already gone to the hospital 2 times complaining about the pain. They're telling me that there's nothing going on. They don't even know why am I feeling pain. So what was the disease had gone to the lining of the lung, and every time I breathe, it was painful. Every time I went to the hospital, they tell me that nothing is wrong with you, everything is fine. And this is a matter of weeks, like within each other, days, I mean. So now telling me that the disease has progressed. mm, Not only that the cancer has progressed in my body, but that I have 5 years to live. And in that 5 years, it could be 2 years, 2.5, God knows what. The way he said it to me, I was like, what? I started crying. I started thinking that Dr. Santorani should have prayed on me. He is cold as a motherfucker. Jade is sitting down He's there giving me this news. Nobody's moving. Nobody's saying anything to me. And of course, God has the final power. We make plans, we study with this, but there's miracle. So I'm crying, like I'm there, I'm crying. I'm like, shit, Dr. Sam Turani should have operated on me, you know? And my mind is racing. It's not what I expected. Like I did not expect this, but at the same time, I had my doctors telling me this in down my JP is telling me this. The report is saying this. I did not expect him to tell me that this my life expectancy is about 5 years, if not 2.5. So I was like, hang on a minute, Dr. Kasherman, and this is all recorded on my phone. I was like, Dr. Kasherman, so 3 weeks ago, I went for my surgery. There was no talk of this, there was nothing of that. You told me that all I need to do is go for the operation, have the lump removed, and now I was in the green light. Now, 3 weeks later, when the disease is out of my body and I'm back on my medication, you want to tell me that I'm dying? I said to him, this does not make any sense to me. If you tell a 3-year-old this story, they will not believe you. And then I said to him, also, by the way, I said to him, do you want to make me believe that this 3 weeks ago I was in the green light? Now, 3 weeks later, I'm in the red light after I had my operation? He said, yes. And I said, you guys, you had no idea about this progression in my body? He said, no. And I said, you're lying because I have a report that in January, there was some movement and progression of the disease in my body. And you did not share this with me and you had no idea about it. He goes to me, what do you mean? And I said, the report of this day, of this day in January. I looked at Jade. She had her eyes wide open like this. So then he turns around, started to go through his computer to see the report. Took a few seconds. And I said, don't worry, I have a copy. Would you like the copy? I gave him the copy. Started reading it. He goes to me, well, your case is complicated. And I said, my case is complicated? I said, I don't believe you that my case is complicated because I'm not a patient who has any other sickness. Just God gave me this sickness. This is my testimony. I don't have any diabetes. I don't have any other internal organ issue. I have nothing in my body but this disease. Otherwise, I'm healthy. And it's even outside of my body. It's not in my mind. Like, I don't even feel it. I live like a normal person. So now he's telling me I have 5 years to live. In that 5 years, 2.5, maybe. And all the times I came, tell him that this what's is dismissing everything. So then I'm trying to ask questions like to understand like how fast this is going to my body, that I'm gonna die. Is it in my brain? Is it in my ass? What the hell is this disease? Like I'm trying to understand, but he knows exactly what I was trying to ask, and he's not helping me like complete the question. So I'll ask question like, how fast is it going? He should know because now later on I found out there's percentage to this thing. Like the disease, there's a percentage that tell you how fast this disease is moving into your body or what's going on. So he goes to me, there is a medical study. If you want to increase your chances of living, if you want, I can send you to this medical study. Of course, I'm going to say yes if someone says that to me, like, if this is my only chance. okay, what do you want me to do? And I'm crying. I said, of course I will do it. Okay, I'll make an appointment for you. Uh, the doctor, the department, you need to go, but it's in the city. I said, that's fine, I will go. So at that stage, I'm still in my cool apartment. So I have to extend my stay. Um, I wait 3 weeks in Adelaide. He told me to use some of the medications I'm on. After I had asked, what should I do with the medication I'm on? I wait 3 weeks thinking that I'm going to go meet a team that is going to give me all the answers that I need. Why have I not been told this information before? Why has he not been listening to me? Why has no one reacted to my medical results from January? Why did I not get operated on? Like all this shit in my head. So I wait 3 weeks. I go. I see this doctor by the name of Lucy. The minute I see this doctor, all I see is Dr. Kashima. Her movement, her personality, like the way she is. I just see Dr. Kashima that obviously that they are talking. I wait for the actual doctor who is leading the study. She first explains to me about the study. She goes like, this is the study that I've done in the hospital, St. Vincent Hospital, Sydney. The study is very intensive in the sense that, there'll be a lot of testing on my body, needles and blood tests and things like that. And that what the first stage is, they need to get a sample of my body, send it to Singapore. If my blood test is suitable and approved for the study, then I can enter this study. So basically, it's a study with a new medication that is not in the pharmaceutical companies or approved. If it works on my body, it's going to increase my chances. Otherwise, my destiny maybe will be chemo. So I wait for the doctor to come and talk to me more about this study. So he comes in and I said, Doctor, do you know anything about my case? My medical my case? He goes, no, I don't know. But you were sent here because you're a candidate for this study. Maybe you're a candidate for the study. So, okay. So for me at the beginning, straight away in my mind, I'm thinking, if he doesn't know anything about my case, that means I'm not going to get any answers from him that I need. Why, all these things that are happening. So, he told me, look, the study is very intensive. You're going to be going and coming from Wollongong, which is like an hour drive. If at any stage you feel like it's too much for you, the going and coming, you can choose to quit the study. So, I mean, it's not brain surgery. Immediately, I'm thinking, if this is important for my life, save my life, give me longer, everything is up to God. But from the medical perspective, that if this is something important for my life, you should be telling me, prepare yourself to live here, or help me sort out something to live near, or I'm going to be going through treatment if it's going to affect my body and so on. Not tell me if you want to quit the study at any stage, you can. So for me, immediately, my mind translates this to that it's something that's not beneficial for me. So then he goes to me, we need to act quickly now. We need to collect your blood. And because he already knows I went to see different doctors for a second opinion, he goes to me, so you don't be running around like a headless chook. So immediately I'm getting a visual of a headless chicken, Anyway, then the director, one of the study coordinators walks in. So at this stage, there's 3 people in the room, the doctor, Dr. Lucy, I forgot his name, and the other director of the study, she's sitting up on the patient's bench, and I'm sitting like say here. So immediately I felt overwhelmed, and I felt like I need to escape from this room. This is not the right thing for me. And I just said to them, look, I need to go out to call my brother and tell him. And at this stage, like I haven't told anyone anything at this stage, not my mom, not my brother. So I go outside. There's a small room with a microwave. Dr. Luce said to be considering this here from the top. I just go. I sit down like this. Of course, I'm not going to call my brother. It's just time for me to process and try to escape this place because I feel like it's not the right thing for me. So I sit there and I think like 20 minutes went past and I'm still just sitting in this room. And then Dr. Lucy comes in and she says to me, look, if you want to go get a coffee and come back, do that. Go for a coffee, talk to your brother and come back and tell us or ask any question. Straight away, I was like, okay, I'll do that. I went never to come back again. So I went straight away to my car and I called my mom. At this point, this was the lowest point of my life. Called my mom, crying, distressed, confused, and driving, trying to get out of the car park, trying to get out of the city. I ended up pulling on the side. My mom was in Cairo. She was here. And mom told me to her, Mama, um, أنا جيت من الدكاترة هسه والدكتور قال لي إنه باقي لي 5 سنة أعيش 5 سنة سنتين بس. طبعا ببكي أنا بهنا. So I'm telling her mom, doctor said this, and that she said to me, firstly, she took the news like really, really well. That's one of the good things about my mom. Like we've been through so much trauma in our life, but her absorbing of trauma is really strong. So she took it really well in the sense she made me stronger. It didn't make sense to her, but she had to go along with what I'm telling because it does not make sense to anybody that you know I was going in for surgery, simple operation, not simple operation, but just not a massive operation, in the sense that the disease has not progressed in my body. None of this news was available to us. So she knew I went for the surgery and everything was successful. And she was following with me every time by the phone when I was in the bed, would do video calls, I sent her photos, etc. So now 3 weeks later, I'm telling her something completely different. So she was in the same mindset as me, but she had to believe me. And she goes to me, you know what? Just hang up the phone right now. All I need you to do is find your passport and be ready when I call you to book your flight and come to where I'm telling you. I said, okay, I'm going to find you the best doctor here in Cairo. You just prepare yourself. I said, fine. So now at least I'm relieved. I'm sharing this information with my mom. I'm more relaxed. Not relaxed, but yeah, still driving, like, thinking headless choke, thinking like I went for the second opinion, one doctor in Wollongong, which was Dr. Tefreshi. He said to me that the disease was in my heart and that Wollongong Hospital has made medical negligence and they're trying to hide it. That's why they're giving you the runaround like that. And I went to another doctor, which was all bullshit. That's why I'm saying that these people are gangsters and everybody knows everybody, and no doctor wants to say the truth because they don't want to be held accountable and they don't want to start like a little party for a patient that at the end of the day does not affect their business. They want business and they want a good reputation. If one doctor stands by a patient, not a good reputation, or against another doctor. Anyway, so she goes to me, I'm gonna find you one of the best doctors in Egypt here. Wait for my call. I said, fine. Um, I go home. She calls me. She spoke to our other one of our family friend, my auntie in Singapore. So that was another chapter. So then she spoke to my auntie Ilham in Singapore, and auntie Ilham, her business is that she deals with medical tourism to Singapore. So she's been living in Singapore for the last 30 years. She has a lot of clients that come from the UAE and get treatment for different kinds of medical stuff in Singapore. So that's her business. Um, so my mom straight away called her big friend Auntie Ilham and explained to her what was going on in our family. And my mom called me and said to me, I need you to book your flight right now. Come to Singapore. Ilham's gonna look after you. She's gonna organize one of the best doctors for you in Singapore, and I'm gonna follow up to touch you. I said, okay. So this was on Tuesday. By Friday, by Thursday, I was in Singapore. By Monday, I saw the doctor. By the next Tuesday, I was in theater. So I walk up to Singapore and I go to one of the best hospitals there in Singapore. Now, if I had not sold my property and I had the cash liquid, I would have been in the hands of this doctor. And now I'm thinking like I'm dying. So I'm trying to make this as comfortable for me as possible. I go and I book my flight first class, just have a business class, have a comfortable flight. I'm sitting there up in the air, thinking that I'm gonna die and start eating sushi. You know that song? Hanako sushi can go. Anyway, um, I woke up. It was my time. I checked in a hotel because I didn't want to tell my auntie. Um, I thought I'll wait to speak to her. I did. She said, "Okay, I'm going to stay with us." I didn't really ointment these people are ointment to the heart. So I go and I meet Dr. Lynette. Dr. Lynette Leong. So Dr. Lynette, please, I want you to take me as a new patient and just deal with me from zero. I'm going to try and express the story. Anyway, she does testing of me, come back. This is what the doctors are saying in Sydney. She goes to me, no, no, there's nothing like that. I said, they're telling me this. I have 5 years to live and this is what's going on. They no. Yes, the disease has progressed to other parts of your body. Your hormones are not being suppressed. And your hormones right now are at 170. They should be down to 88. So what needs to be done? Said, if you need to remove my gut, take it. She said, we going, if you know, she sent me to another doctor, her friend, who are at the same level, at the Novena Hospital in Singapore, uh, Dr. Cindy, who is, who removed my ovaries. So basically, the ovaries are the, if I can call it, um, that powerhouse for our female hormones. So once that's removed, that's already cutting the flow of the hormone that is feeding the disease. So that straight away brings me back to the time when Dr. Cashman was sitting next to me and he's asking me, "Do you want to have any more kids?" Because once you remove your hormones, I'm not gonna get pregnant anymore. I can't get pregnant through my womb. They inject me manually, um, like IVF sort of stuff, but not naturally. So I had my ovaries removed within a few days. Then I was put on a different combination of medication. And subhanAllah, maybe like 2 months, 3 months later, I do another PET scan. The disease is not in my body anymore. And I don't have this life expectancy and all these things that was going on. So I won that battle. We won that battle, you know. And I don't know what's happened. Then after that, and mind you, during this time, the minute I landed in Singapore, I get a phone call from Wollongong Hospital. They kick me out of the hospital. They tell me you can no longer come to the hospital because your relationship is broken with the doctor. I said, what do you mean? Because I asked questions. Why did you not know that this is going on with my body? That's doc They literally kicked me out of the hospital. Anyway, um, I wrote to them, and the good thing is every time something happens to me, every communication with them, I have learned through my life in Australia, emails, everything is in documentation. Whatever they say to me, go to ChatGPT, send a letter, form a letter, generate a letter, uh, put the points. The letter comes out, I edit it, send it. I don't leave any room for chance or delay. Whatever they did, I'm sending them an email. Everything is in writing with the consumer feedback. So then, so then they call and they kick me out of the hospital. You can no longer come and get treated. I said, excuse me, this is my hospital. I live, this is my area. You guys work in the hospital. This is my hospital. So I go and get treated in Singapore. Everything is fine. The disease is out of my body. Now I go back. Okay, just came back after the break. So where I was at, so after I went to see Dr. Lynette in Singapore, she told me completely different diagnosis to what my doctors in oncologist in Australia. And to my surprise, it's like, I was fortunate enough to be in a position where I just sold my property. I have balance in my account to be able to give myself that chance to go for a second opinion overseas. How can things be completely different? Like, how can I go only in 8 hours from a place of you've got 5 years to live, 2 hours, 2 years and a half of that, to disease is controlled, there's nothing in the PET scan showing anymore, medication is working, thank God. Like, how? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I demand accountability, and I demand clarity, and I demand compensation to what I have went through. Like, I'm just now being collective and saying everything the way it is, but I'm getting counseling. Like, I am fucked, okay? Financially, I'm fucked, and I haven't even finished the story yet. So I go and get treated and have my ovaries removed in Singapore. And I get back to see the doctors in Wollongong, because now I need to hold some people accountable. They need to help me. They need to explain to me why did I go through this? So I go and come back to Wollongong after being kicked out. This is going to be the first time I'm coming back. So of course now I cannot see Dr. Cashman. A new doctor is going to come on board. So I go, they book me in with Dr. Francis, Catherine Francis. She's a new oncologist to the Department of Wollongong, Illawarra Cancer in Wollongong. And Dr. Francis was still on leave because we just came back from New Year. So Dr. Francis was on leave. I saw another doctor in the meantime. So my main concern was that I wanted the script of the medication that I was put on by oncologist, my doctor in Singapore, Dr. Lynette. So when I got back, I met up with Dr. Chandler, and I also recorded, rocked up quietly. I don't speak much. Dr. Chandler, I'm so sorry I have to do this, but I need to record our meeting because I'm always confused. Like, I need to gather the information so I can go back and listen to it, which is within my right, patient right. So I rock up. Dr. Chandler is speaking so loud, and she goes, look, there's nothing we can do here for you. The script that you're requesting, it can only be obtained privately. And mind you, the medication is about almost $4,900. So I've already spent a lot of money doing my operation and my surgery and doing my tests, doing all that, flights, hotels. And then on top of this, when I come back to Australia, under my right, under Medicare, they're telling me that I cannot obtain this medication and it has to be on a private script. So firstly, I get wrongly treated. I don't get treated, my medical treatment, I don't get enough, the 5-year cycle. Then my disease comes back again. My doctor doesn't know that my disease has progressed, completely lies to me, sends me to a medical study, tells me I'm going to die when I go 8 hours later, it's completely different. Another doctor is telling me that the disease is in my heart, but it's not even in my heart. What the heck is going on? And not even to mention all the nonsense that happens at luminous imaging. Anyway, so I rock up, Dr. Chandler's like, look, there's nothing we can do for you. So again, I'm treated with push, when I should be treated with care, empathy, and love. I'm not dealing with the flu here. I'm dealing with a terminal disease. So she writes me the script. I go and get the script. And in the meantime, of course, I'm researching. I'm calling PPS. PPS is telling me that, the doctor should just be able to switch me my medication, because the issue was that they're saying that the PPS rules of Medicare, that the medication I was on is on the same line as the same medication that Singapore doctor put me on. So the rule is that if you are on medication A and it's on the same line as number 1, you can't be on medication B of the same line as number 1. So when I called PPS, they said to me, no, your doctor should just be able to switch you up. So firstly, this medication wasn't working with me. I get pregnant. Again, I'm putting in the same medication. I'm still getting my period. That means I'm not being put in the medication that's suppressing my hormones. So now when I am being put on the right medication for me, you're telling me that you can't give me the script for it? I have to go and get it privately? So then again, I just say, thank God that I was fortunate enough that I had sold my property and I have balance in the bank. But it ate up already. Like, I'm already going in so much minus. So first month, second month, third month, fourth month, I'm still chasing them up and fighting them. emails telling them it's my right. Now I'm seeing Dr. Lawrence Catherine. She's telling me, why don't you go, I hear some people, they go and try and get the medication from India, like making a joke. Whenever I say like I'm healed by God's name, okay, I get the feeling like, okay, you do what you believe, but I get the feeling like the disrespect that, okay, you don't believe in God, but I believe in God. Like there's that kind of energy. Reserved doctor as a stand. She's telling me she's doing her best to communicate, and I'm like, look, it's basic, because I've asked PPS, I've spoken to them, I've read the guidelines, I've emailed the guidelines to my doctor Lynette in Singapore. We went through it together. She's telling me you're eligible. There is so many points. I was not given a fair trial on the medication that I was on. Doctors were delayed me on giving me a script to take it, like sometimes a month. I had to even stop the medication before surgery. So there's all these elements that are part of the PPS program that, if you meet those things, that means you didn't get a fair go of that medication, so I'm supposed to be on it. So I'm telling her that, look, I am eligible. So she writes to PPS asking for an exemption. Now, PPS is not going to accept an exemption because of fairness and equality to everybody. PPS will accept that I'm Dr. Lawrence Francis. This is my patient, and she deserves to be on this medication. She writes the script under her oath as a doctor. So PPS is not going to come and say, give Taz this medication because of fairness and equality. So she writes to PPS. PPS writes an email back. By this stage, I want to read everything and see everything on my own. I said, can I please have a copy of the reply that they wrote? I go finish my appointment with her, continue paying for my medication. I go sit in the car and read the reply. And the reply basically says, as an organization, Medicare PPS program scheme, we cannot give the authority for the medication. So then she says to me, yeah, so the email clearly says that PPS does not allow exemption, but PPS, you as a doctor, you're the one that has the authority to say that, to give to your patient. So they leave the responsibility to the doctor, which makes sense. So I read the email, I screenshot that paragraph, email consumer feedback, and say, look, it is up to Dr. Lawrence Francis' responsibility, Catherine Francis' responsibility to prescribe the medication for me, which I am eligible for. And I've just been paying all this money on all this month trying to fight. So I can't get a moment of breath to myself. I'm not dealing with the flu, I'm dealing with a terminal illness. And all this shit, all this experience that I've been put through is adding stress to me, So I get back to Australia. I'm staying with my mate who's a single father of 4. My kids are with their dad in Wollongong. I'm staying in Blacktown. I'm trying to rent myself a place. Took me about 5 weeks to rent a place, furnish it, trying to have a normal life. And then I'm the main scene is like I'm dealing with this situation and trying to keep sanity. So backwards and forwards. Finally, a breakthrough when I explained to her, look, and even on top of that, my hormones were not suppressed. My hormones was at 178 and it's supposed to be down at 80 or under. So all this time, my disease is being fed, I'm not being controlled, and then I get sent to a medical study. I need answers. I really need answers. And you guys have to be held accountable. You can't just go fuck up people's life and switch up doctors like that on me and not get answers. And now I'm being treated legally, and on top of that, Dr. Francis, I come in and she goes to me, oh, you need to stop this recording. I've sent an email to the legal team to see if you're allowed to do that. From the first appointment that I went, I was silenced to express my right if I wanted to record our meetings. So the intensity of me being labeled as a bad patient or, being treated, as a troublemaker patient is elevated even higher. So I just go, I rock up, what do we, they go through my results. I just keep quiet and I leave. If I need anything, I send it by email. And I don't know who to trust, what to trust, anything like that. So anyway, I see Dr. Francis like 4 times. And then she gives me a call and she goes to, so the final stage was that she wrote to the hospital to be able to access the hospital funding. And I'm going, why are you people doing this? I am eligible. Like, why are you insisting on that PPS, that, now, and then she said she called the medicine company and she told them that, she said to me, I'm going to email the medicine company and tell them that you already made them enough money and see if they can give you your medication for free. Like, it's not a joke, and just all this other small bullshit that's bloody pisses me off all the time. Anyway, coming up 15 more minutes, this story will be finished. So then she gives me a call and she said to me that she accessed the hospital funding after trying really, really hard, having all these different meetings. Now, finally, the hospital accepted to give me 6 months worth of the medication, and that if the medication is working fine with me, then they'll have to have another meeting and see if they're still going to approve me or not. And I'm eligible. Like, I don't understand why all this is happening. So now I'm still waiting for approval. I've got 1 course of the medication. I'm still waiting for the approval. My bank account is at 0. I'm back on the benefits and studying and doing psychology, like seeing a doctor for my mental health. All these things happening behind the scene, but I'm trying to keep it composed. So basically, the bottom line, the final few moments of this is that I'm fighting for justice. I'm demanding accountability. This isn't just about my survival, it's about justice. I'm pushing through a case against Epping Hospital and Wollongong Hospital, exercising my rights as a citizen, and I'm not asking for a charity. I will grab my right by force. Now, this is a message to the system. To the doctors and administrators who failed me, in my professional opinion, you need to believe me. This is not just my fight. It's a fight for every patient who has been wronged. I am not coming down from this mountain until I get my rights. This is a battle I'm leading. It's for all of us. Who wants to come to my party? I call this party a Taz Nation. It's a culture of resilience, and I cannot be dismissed in this manner. Now, closing this podcast, to anyone who is fighting a similar battle, you are not alone. You are stronger than what you think. This is the last time I'm going to talk about this. The next time, it will be in court. But until then, I'm going to go and build on myself. This is the next stage of my life, and I'm not going to be bounded by faceless people. And my final words, I announce my vision. This is a win-win situation. We can unsubscribe from the society for a minute, but we must come back stronger. Thank you for listening. Stay strong and stay hopeful. And let's keep fighting for what's right. As a breast cancer patient in Wollongong, New South Wales, I have the right to access safe, high-quality care under the Australian healthcare system, including timely diagnosis, effective treatment, and comprehensive support. I have the right to be fully informed about my conditions, treatment options, and potential risk, and to give my consent before any medical procedure. If I feel that my care has been compromised due to negligence or the system failure, I have the right to seek accountability and compensation through the legal channels. Wollongong and Epping Hospital, like all healthcare providers in New South Wales, has a duty to uphold these rights, and I will not rest until I'm heard, respected, and given the justice I deserve. This fight is not just for me, it's for every patient who has been failed by the system. I cannot be an Australian citizen where my voice identifies me, okay? 280-651-376X, and be told by my doctor what's an African refugee like you going to do in the middle of what I'm going through? No.